Goku, Chuck Norris. These are some of the strongest characters in fiction. But now we have a brand new contender, Grug. I'm sure you've seen the recent memes going around. Everything appears to be rhyming with Grug. Grug appears to be taking over the internet. We're going to be taking a look at his feats, power level, and strength to see how strong Grug is in the memeverse. Let's take a look at Grug's baseline abilities. First of all, Grug has supernatural physical traits. If you've seen the Croods movie, he's displayed levels of athleticism that isn't normal in humans. He's actually a Neanderthal, which is technically stronger and more powerful than humans. Although lacking in IQ, Neanderthals can actually bench, squat, and generally lift more than humans. And in fact, it's not even close. Knowing this in the context of the memeverse, he's definitely on the stronger side when it comes to physical abilities. Now, we also know that he has enhanced and high levels of physical speed. Now, we're not talking levels of Quickster or Wally West here, but we are talking about a heightened level of athleticism, meaning that he could generally outspeed your average memeverse character. So basic guys and new memes that come around like Mr. Beast wouldn't be able to be faster than Grug. Also, he has access to super strength. Now, we know super strength in the general context as being able to lift, being able to swing, stuff like that. But he's also able to just lift heavy items in general. It seems like his muscle is not just for show, he's actually able to apply this. We saw this when he was able to save his family from monsters and hunt. And that's another intangible trait I'd like to talk about with Grug, his instinct. When speaking about instinct, who do you think of? Maybe you think of aura and presence, spiritual pressure, an instinct so thick and tangible that it's hard to move. Well, that's what we currently have with Grug. Taking a look at the lore, Grug was able to hunt multiple characters down. Not only was he sighted trying to hunt down Ugandan Knuckles, but he also was able to hunt down eggs, which we saw in the Croods movie. And honestly, he is the apex predator. And as we know, predators lie at the top of the food chain, meaning that he's able to hunt anything that moves and anything that speaks. Similarly to how the lion does, although if we're talking about a 1v1, I'm taking Grug over the lion every single time. Now that we've established that Grug has super speed and super strength as well as instinct, there's another intangible I'd like to talk about. If we look at Grug, despite him not actually having the most upfront intelligence, his scientific IQ is off the charts. If we're looking at this in the context of the time, he's actually hyper intelligent when it comes to inventions. It's believed that Neanderthals existed a minimum of 40,000 years ago. So to have access to things like clothing, belts, and also have an innovative mind to make new technology translates to an insane IQ if we were able to bring him to the modern era. In fact, we've seen this on multiple occasions where he just makes things out of thin air. I mean, it's just the sheer ridiculousness of Grug that the verse simply isn't ready for. And this is why I consider him generally intelligent in the memeverse. Now, of course, we're not talking insane levels of intelligence here like the Thinker, but we are talking about above average intelligence. If we were to bring Grug to the modern era, there's no telling what he'd be able to do. In fact, translating his level of IQ back then to now, we could get room temperature thermal conductors. Yes, you heard it. Room temperature semiconductors, meaning that he could change the world by simply being on the planet today. Now, I know what you're thinking. This man has access to speed, strength, intelligence, instinct. What does he not have? Well, first of all, I'd like to say that some of his IQ is very limited. Outside of instinct and inventions, he's got no other strengths mentally. He seems to be scared of new things. And when it's very hard to adapt and change, he probably won't last too long in the memeverse if people take advantage of that. Also, he appears to be a jack of all trades. He has no standout physical abilities, which means he's probably gonna get bossed around by a lot of the more upper echelon memeverse characters. New gen and old gen. Old gen like Quandale Dingle, GigaChad and all those guys, and more new gen guys like Simon Claw. However, now that we've gone over Grug in his baseline form, let's take a look at Grug in his strongest form, Rhymes with Grug. Essentially, in the film, there is a point where he's just basically pulling things out of thin air and said, Rhymes with Grug. Essentially, this is how he reaches his upper level of memeverse power. This is what takes him from, you know, your baseline super strong, maybe some intelligence level character to somebody that could really make some real damage in the verse and have a higher power scaling. But when he says Rhymes with Grug, this extends to absolutely everything. If he has the ability to rhyme said thing with Grug, he synonymously becomes that thing. For example, winning rhymes with Grug. Determination rhymes with Grug. Peak rhymes with Grug. However, things like losing does not rhyme with Grug. Now, because of this gives him an extra power boost in the verse. With this level of a power boost, if he can generally think of something that rhymes with Grug, he will then gain said ability. Now this makes it very difficult to put a cap on where he lands in the meme verse, because the limits are essentially only his mind. However, this ability can be abused. If he starts rhyming incorrect things with Grug, he could lose in a one-on-one. By accidentally rhyming weakness with Grug, he would lose the fight. However, if he's very intelligent with it, with rhyming magical blade with Grug or something like that, he could definitely get an upper hand in a one-to-one battle. Now because of all of this, I'm ranking him at the Boundless level in the meme verse. Now Boundless in the meme verse means different from Boundless in comics or Boundless in anime, because Boundless in the meme verse is not the highest tier. In fact, it's below the Omega Boundless category, and the Omega Boundless category houses characters that are some of the strongest we've ever seen. Guys like Giga Chad and Emperor Dijon, and of course the higher final boss who would settle this debate on his own. Now who else is in the Boundless category? Well, making this category, I would also add someone like Chuck Norris and Ian Hawke. Ian Hawke, naturally from the Chipmunks movie, never ever loses. In fact, he's even stated multiple times, "I never lose." And of course, many people have speculated as to how strong he is. Also, Chuck Norris and his infamous roundhouse kick. His roundhouse kick is known to be a one-shot elimination for many characters, and he's known to be almost indestructible, never ever losing a one-on-one, hardly. Now, I'd firmly place him on this tier because, as we've seen, he definitely possesses a lot of these traits, and utilizing rhymes with Grug, he could definitely cement himself in the Boundless level category. Real question, who would win in a 1v1 between Grug and Chuck Norris? Well, in this 1v1, I would be taking Chuck Norris with medium level difficulty. Although Grug is very powerful, it's Chuck Norris, not close. However, a very close fight would be Grug and Ian Hawke. Both are almost indestructible and never lose. If Ian Hawke was at 100%, it might cause Grug a little trouble, but nah, Grug would win. Simply because of his better physical strength, better physical intelligence, and just being better overall physically, as well as his rhymes with Grug ability taking him over the top. Now this puts him above the vast majority of characters in the meme verse. If you can think of a character, Grug probably wipes the floor with him, near negative difficulty. However, if we're talking some of the strongest of the strong, I just honestly wouldn't put Grug up there with them. However, I will give credit to Grug where credit is due. Grug is definitely the strongest meme character we've seen this year. I mean, compared to the other memeverse characters we've seen this year, the abilities of Grug far surpasses all of them. And honestly, there is almost limitless potential. I mean, just check the comment section on any Grug video and you'll very quickly see how strong Grug could possibly get. And of course, 100 humans versus 1 gorilla debate was ended by Grug. In fact, many have speculated he could even win 1 human versus 100 gorillas, or 1 Neanderthal if you want to be specific. But honestly, I think that Grug has the potential to definitely be one of the strongest characters in the memeverse. But for right now, I'm going to be leaving him in that mid to higher Boundless category. But it'll be very interesting to see what your guys' takes are and what videos you would like to see next. Let me know if you disagree or agree with my take. And also check out my TikTok and Instagram, both at Hyperstrides. Join the Discord, sub to my YouTube, like and follow for more.